Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to go over my Abyss Horde farming strategy. As you can see from these clips here, it is an insanely profitable strategy. And one of the biggest misconceptions is that you need a mirror tier character to be able to run these insanely juiced maps, and you have to apply risk scarabs and so forth. You really don't. My character is pretty strong. It's only level 95 and it's a poisonous concoction pathfinder, but it by no means can run all map mods. So risk scarabs can potentially break my maps in many ways, and it's just not worth it for me to do that. So the only real requirement is to be running tier 16.5 maps. Although 8 mod corrupted T16s are fine, but tier 16.5 maps just has so much more better loot, and it's almost equivalent to tier 17s but less rippy, so that's why most people run that. The catch is to not be running 8 mod tier 16.5 if your build can't handle it. At the end of the day, you want to be able to complete your map, trust me. I've bricked a few maps because I underestimated how rippy these 8 mod maps can be, especially when you're adding risk scarabs on top of it. So don't make the same mistakes that I did. As you can see from these clips, you'll still be dropping divines, Valdo boxes, etc. And the only downside to this strat is obviously you have to be clicking a ton of these hordes, and they can be a little annoying. The solution is to make a spellcaster with high cast speed and utilizing the mastery, but I didn't really feel like doing that, and clicking for me isn't really a big deal. At the end of these highlights, I'll go over my Atlas tree as well as supplementary tools that I use to increase my profits per hour, so stay tuned. Alright, so going over the strategy, the first thing I want to go over is the Atlas passive tree for Abyss. So this is what the tree looks like. Basically, we want to grab only a few Abyss wheels, which is this one here that gives us chance for our map to have Abyss. And then we're skipping this entirely because we don't really care much about Stygian Spires in our map as well as Abyssal Depths. The only thing that matters in this strategy is the hordes that spawn along your crack along the way, so we don't care for this. This one here is quite nice because it gives you more monsters in your Abyss, which drops more loot. And then this wheel here basically gives you a bunch of Abyss jewels with 5 or 6 modifiers, and that's very RNG based because, as you can see here, I have a bunch of different jewels that I just throw into this 70C tap here, and sometimes you have something that is good, you get a ping for it. If you get spam, it's likely worth a lot more, and that's when I usually change the price for it. But this is basically an auto price check that I use. Anything that is, I get ping for, I just sell it for 70C. And I also grab these ones here that give you more monsters and more experience from your Abyss. And also because we are running Abyss, it scales really well with Eater. Like altars here, it gives you a lot of extra monsters, and as you can see from the clip earlier, you occasionally get lucky and you get a divine shrine which drops a bunch of divines. But more importantly, they just add a bunch of quantity to your map. Oh, and most importantly, you need this wheel up here for your Abyss. This will just gives you a lot more monsters. And then everything else is basically Scarabs. So we're grabbing Scarab wheel here. We're grabbing ambush Scarabs as well as cartography Scarabs because risk Scarabs are worth quite a bit. And then some map modifiers, chance to drop memory influence map. Very important to grab this because this strategy actually is able to self-sustain your originator maps. So it's very important to grab these modifiers, and then Scarabs as well. And Scarabs here. And then finally, we're also getting singular focus so that we only drop favorite maps, everything else drops as currency. And very important, I've noticed that it's better for me to favor different maps, not just the same map, because this increases my chances of dropping all these different favorite maps instead of just one map. And that increases your chance of dropping an originator map. So that's something that I've noticed, so that's why I favor some maps that I like here: City Square, Jungle Valley, Mesa, Basilica. And these maps are mostly because they have some nice div cards. So like Default Cathedral has the Mage Blood gift card. City Square is just a good map overall, but it has where is that at? City Square, right here. So City Square has the Light of Meaning, which is a jewel that is quite lucky. You might be able to get a good one that you can sell for quite a bit, like this one here. So yeah, that's that. Now the Scarabs that I'm running for this strategy, because my build can handle risk Scarabs, I'm running 2 Abyss, 1 Edifice, and then these 2 are optional. I find that I want to sustain my maps, and these 2 Scarabs here, Multitude and Escalation, helps me sustain my maps. I dropped quite a bunch of T17s. As you can see, I have not sold them yet. And also, you should be able to sustain your originator maps. You know, if you can't sustain it, then that's when I would flip over to just running 8 mod tier 16s, and eventually you should be able to drop an originator map. Alright, and what else do I want to go over here? So this is the Abyss strategy again, and then occasionally I would swap to the destructive play here if I want to just focus on more maps, because these ones here, somehow it has a better, we're grabbing these wheels here to increase our map drop chance. So if you're really struggling on maps, I would run something like this, destructive play Atlas Tree right here, and just run more cartography Scarabs instead of these Abyss Scarabs. So maybe do like a cartography Scarab Multitude, maybe 2 of them, 2 escalations, and maybe 1 of the 8 mod map Scarab Corruption, if you're really struggling on maps, but you should be fine. And also, I like to supplement this with King's March, where you have your mappers run the 8 mod maps that you cannot run. So for instance, these maps here have reduced flash charges. I cannot do that. This one has cannot leech, which I can't do. Minus max res I can do as well. So for these maps, I just simply throw them into my mapper here, and I'll include a clip here of sometimes you get lucky and you find a Hinokora's Lock, and you'll occasionally find Divines, Exalted Orbs, so definitely do that. You can also throw in your Staple Guardian maps here. It will give you some of these fragments, so you can do that, but that's a pro tip. And you want to make sure that you are running as high level, the max is level rank 5 mappers as you can, so they don't fail your map. Alright, what else do I want to go over? As for the build, again, I have a previous video on this. We're just doing Poisonous Concoction. It's a pretty good build. It has about 28 million, 30 million DPS. Survivability, pretty good, but we still would die if we're just running Risk Scarab. So, yep. Passive tree, just gonna showcase this real quick here. This is what it looks like. And yeah, so conclusion is that Abyss farming is very profitable, and if your build isn't able to handle the risk Scarabs like a lot of the other streamers out there are doing, that's fine. You can absolutely still profit from it by just modifying a little bit, running less juicier maps, and you will still profit a lot. So hopefully this video helps you out. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Bye guys.